Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Infinity Train, episodes 3 and 4 of season 2. So, yeah, we're finally doing a 2-episoder here, and that's because, like I had said in the past reactions, I'm doing it according to the video files that I'm getting downloaded for this. So, episodes 1 and 2 were each in their own separate downloads. 3 and 4 it's in the same video. It's the same download. So it's basically normal length for most series, but it's 2 half-length episodes. So with episode 2, we got a little more of Mirror Tulip and Jesse, I think his name is. They climb down this family tree that's kind of like got this Hatfields and McCoys vibe. And they have to deal with like kind of getting to connect with each other in some way as well. They're because Mirror Tulip is she's kind of emo, let's be honest. And I'm not saying that is necessarily a bad thing. I get why, but she is kind of emo, and it seems to be hard for her to trust someone, which again I understand why. So trusting Jessie like this is proving to be hard to her. She's especially upset with the entire situation with the deer. And so it's like she's just trying to kind of survive on her own these days and do whatever she can. So it's like having anything pull her back, like it to any degree, anything just kind of stopping her from doing what she wants to do, it's going to bother her. But they do eventually manage to work together and get down the tree, and yeah, kind of leave off where we left off. It just ended very suddenly. So we got 2 more episodes here to continue to see their journey here. And mention real quick, I was asked a comment in the previous video about who my favorite characters and stuff were, and favorite train cars and all. And it's like it was accounting for both seasons and everything. See all of season 1 and what I've seen of season 2 so far. And it's like I just thought I'd mention it here real quick. If I had to name a favorite right now, it would still just be Tulip, right? Like human Tulip. I don't really think there's anyone else that I would really put above her, but there's also not a lot I would like put like directly under her either. The characters in this series are definitely not as much the appeal of it for me, at least based off of season 1. I don't know how these other seasons are going to go. It's more the creativity and the depth of it, but the characters themselves, outside of like Tulip so far, and I guess Mirror Tulip to a little bit lesser of a degree, aren't bland per se, but just don't do as much for me as like characters in other shows, like characters in She-Ra or My Hero Academia or the Vivzy shows. The characters in those shows just do so much more for me, and so it's a little disappointing with this series that they don't as much. Not that I don't like them. I do like them. It's just they're not as investing for me. But yeah. Tulip would definitely be my favorite, and Mirror Tulip is a second. As for train cars, I don't bloody know. It's been a while since I've seen season 1, so I don't even remember all the train cars. So I would have to go through that all again. Maybe when I finish the series, I could do a list of my favorite train cars, or like an overall list of favorite characters and stuff like that. But I think it would be best to wait till I finish the series and get to see all of it before I come to any conclusions about any of that, because I'm sure there's a lot more characters that would enter that list after more seasons. And plus, there's just not as many characters to really discuss yet. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where this goes. Um, and hopefully, we get to see more going on with this train, more information being given, stuff like that. We'll see. In the meantime, we're just going to get this started and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back into the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so 2 very interesting episodes. First, we have our heroes go through the map car, in which they have to piece together these pieces of a map, finding them in the first place, in order to get out. However, this cloud person named Marcel doesn't want them to get out and is trying to sabotage them. They end up, well, Jesse ends up outsmarting him, and they get through. There's some fun stuff that happens in this one. Just some fun little details. We also get to learn more about Jesse, finding out about his interest in swimming, told through quite a bit of detail. Definitely made me think of Free, especially because we just finished season 2 of that not that long ago. So that was fun. And Marcel was interesting, but very reminiscent of Over the Garden Wall. I talked about that briefly in the reaction, but it very much reminded me of that. Just the design of the car, as well as Marcel specifically, it just had that kind of creepy aesthetic to it, and it got creepy too. And that's a very good thing, to be honest, because I did like Over the Garden Wall. So I'm not like complaining about this, but just making a notable observation. The second of these 2 episodes has the Flex chasing down Mirror Tulip, MT, and Jesse. And they end up going through these different cars and all, and eventually reach this Kick the Toad car, where the only way to get out and the only thing to do in it is kick the toad. I mean, you could talk to the toad and everything, and that's fine, that's nice, but the only way to actually get out is to kick it. So they stay in there overnight, and Jesse starts to talk to one of the Flecks on the other side of the door. He finds out that Tulip is a criminal. He finds out that she is a reflection and everything, and starts to question things. But we also see that he's not perfect himself. We see through a video on his phone that he had actually taken part in bullying his younger brother, and that shortly after that situation, he had actually gotten to the Infinity Train. So he never even got to see his brother after that or apologize or anything, which is probably weighing quite a bit on him. We see him looking at the video and clearly feeling sorry about it. And it seems like he was only doing it to try and fit in, which is honestly a pretty common trope throughout the years, like of a character joining in on bullying to try and fit in. It's like, yeah, we've seen that in a lot of things. But at the same time, he was still a part of it, an active part of it. And we also see plenty of pictures that show he does love his brother. So it's showing that he's not necessarily bad, he's just taken part in bad things. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of us have done bad things or said bad things or whatnot throughout the years, whether in our youth or even as we've grown older. It doesn't necessarily make us bad, and sometimes we do it just to try and fit in, but we have to acknowledge that those actions were still bad. And we have to acknowledge that we need to fix that kind of thing, that we cannot just accept those actions as just something bad we did in the past, just kind of move on. No, you have to learn from that kind of stuff and grow and better yourself to make sure you don't do that kind of stuff again. And yes, I'm very much speaking from experience, as I've talked about on this channel before. I've done bad stuff, I've said bad stuff, I've gone through all of that. And I've had to learn through that. And I still will make mistakes. Plenty. I mean, I don't think any person on earth is uh, like incapable of that. You're going to go throughout life still doing some bad things and making mistakes constantly. You just have to keep growing from them, though. And so we see just how things progress with these characters and how they're learning to accept their pasts, but not to really be okay with them. They're learning to grow and change and become better. And that seems to be a theme with this season so far. Growth. Like these characters, both Tulip and Jessie, have growing to do. MT, in terms of growing as her own individual person, separate from the reflection that she's known all of her life. And Jessie has to grow in terms of becoming better, honestly, to actually grow as a person. And I'm interested to see what more they do with this and how much further they go down that road. I'm interested to learn more about Jessie, to see Tulip grow more and become more of her own person. It's going to be really interesting to see where the rest of this season goes. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of these episodes of Infinity Train Season 2. And as always, no spoilers for the future. Just tell me your thoughts on these episodes and maybe the episodes of the past, as long as nothing is a spoiler for the future. But in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.